So now, just tell me again though about your story. But you were saying is you were at CFM where on the West Coast? What
Yeah.
CFM were you a part of?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
was I was actually with Ryan for like 2 years before CFM ever was a thing on the West Coast. That was interesting how that all happened. Basically, yeah, he was like a mentor to me. I was pretty new to the faith. He took me under his wing, and yeah, we did street ministry together and everything. CFM ended up approaching him. Long story short, I didn't want to do it. I remember literally saying to one of the women there, who was kind of like, trying to plant the in SF. That's where it was initially, San Francisco, and
Okay.
and I was like, "Is this a cult?" And she's like, Corey, like, I wonder that myself sometimes, but I just see the fruit is so good, like the evangelism, everything. So I just can't deny it. And I'm like, okay. So I took a step back. I was like, I don't think so. I'm gonna do my own Bible study. Long story short, I didn't have any other real community other than Ryan. Like, he was my mentor. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a leap of faith. I mean, yeah, they are evangelizing. I don't really know anyone else who's out in the streets evangelizing like this,
Well, that's true. That's
you
true.
know. And so I decided to try it out. I entered. They had me in leadership basically. I helped plant the church. Everything was going pretty well. And then over a span of time, basically, it just kept getting worse and worse. In the sense of the control, slander, gossip in leadership, just really bad talking congregants, just being really abusive specifically to women. And I just kind of had this almost like codependent thing where I was just like, I can fix them. Like, I can, if I just stay long enough and love them enough and just continue to correct them from behind the scenes and just be honoring, like, they're going to get it, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
How long were you there?
Yeah, so I was there for a year total. And one of my biggest problems was how isolated they were. Like, they were basically like trying to separate me from different churches that I really loved, other brothers and stuff that I love. They were like, you got to really be focused here. And yeah. And then they just kept throwing new believers into leadership way before their time. I'm kind of cutting a lot out just because I actually have to wake up
No,
and go
I
to
know.
church in the morning tomorrow.
Yeah, I understand. It's you're
Yeah,
kind of keeping it brief to give us an idea because a lot of people are going to say,
yeah,
"Well, who is Corey? Is he legitimate?" So, kind of giving
yeah,
us the quick breakdown actually makes it better. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So yeah, I mean, basically, I was in charge of the evangelism in CFMSF. I would preach sermons there. I did Bible studies there. I also ended up helping out with the Orange County plant. Um, and then it got to the point where um, they actually slandered a brother of mine who I was pretty close to, who was outside of the ministry, and said just totally false accusations. And I was like, no, that's not cool. And they did it to all the leadership. So now they had this false perception of who he was. And I was like, okay, like, I've already received abuse, but maybe it's just me. I thought it was just maybe, like, maybe just pointed towards me, you know what I mean? Um,
Right.
and when they started slandering like people outside of the ministry and trying to cut my ties with them and stuff like that, and they started calling him a wolf, started saying that he was a Bethelite when he was literally someone who had actually corrected Bethel when they tried to come into SF originally, and took a lot of backlash for it. I was just like, this is like really false stuff. And they were saying he's a NAR guy, and they're doing this in the sight of all the leadership. So now they're having this perception of him, and he has his own ministry. So now they're making him look bad, publicly. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, you guys got to correct that. Like, that's not cool. From that, then they started slandering me to the congregation, saying that I was just being led astray
I
by
will
a
say
wolf.
this. I will say this, bro. I don't know if you knew this, but like after you had came to preach in Orange County, because I was there. I don't know if you remember me, but
I do. Yeah.
yeah. I remember you gave him a servant one time at the beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember. I don't know how long after that it was. I don't remember how long, like, the timeline was, but I remember once you left in the church, I don't. They started to say that that you had left the church to go live with the homosexual alone.
Yeah. So they're saying crazy
Yeah.
stuff. They're saying like he was trying to homosexually take advantage of me, all kinds of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and they weren't.
That's what they told me.
Yeah, and they weren't like taking this to me and saying this or anything. They just were basically like separating. And so at this time, I was actually taking a step back because of all this. And I said, like I can't, like, in good conscience continue to attend, you know what I mean, while this is going on. I didn't realize, I thought it was more isolated than it was. But while I was taking a step back for about a month, while I was trying to actually get an actual like call with David Lynn and the rest of the leadership to clear everything up privately, not even bring it to the congregation, I kept getting calls from congregants saying, like, Ryan's telling me, like, you know, you're being led astray. Are you okay? All this other stuff. And I was ignoring most of them because I told them that I was just going to like do my own thing and just wait till they respond. You know what I mean? And so I'm getting calls. I'm like, how do you know this? Because the only person like who even knows my situation and like my, you know, I was at the time I was living and doing ministry at a what's it called, like a retreat center up in the country in Mountain Ranch, California. So I was actually like working with a minister, and we were like helping, you know, restore people and stuff like that. We were farming, doing it all. So it was actually a cool situation. And he was really like the only one in LA who would have known, because I didn't really talk to people in LA about like even that situation. So I didn't really understand how people would even be like commenting or like bringing that up, except he was telling people, you know what I mean? So there's really no other way. And then also I received multiple calls from several different brothers saying like, Ryan told me. So then they went and said like, this is what Ryan's saying. And that's how all the gossip spread, basically, is the way I perceive that, you know? So from that, I actually got a call from one of the brothers in leadership. I got told to repent. I'm being disobedient. I'm not submitting. I'm blaspheming the Holy Spirit. I'm like, bro, like, I have no reason to submit to you or any of that stuff. Like, you're tripping, dude. Like, you're not showing me like any good qualities of a leader. Like, you're just like, you're being ridiculous. You're literally calling me a blasphemer of the Holy Spirit. I'm a reprobate. So, I finally got on a call with David Lynn, and he, in that like 3-hour conversation, basically said it was all my fault that I'm being slandered and gossiped about because I went to go over there, you know, and take that hiatus, basically, because I was already feeling it was weird and I was just trying to make like an exit.
So by you not going to CFM, you're blaspheming the Holy Spirit.
Basically. But this is what he said. This is like this is the linchpin. Okay, I'm like telling you, this is like the weirdest thing. This is where I realized like, okay, this is actually a cult. Like, it's not just poor leadership. He literally said, because I asked him, because I said, you guys are very insulative. Like, it's becoming like very isolated, and I don't like the way this feels. I have a heart for church unity as long as there's sound doctrine. And that's another part of the story I can get into. But yeah, he literally said, well, if someone gets saved and there's a CFM nearby, they'll eventually come to CFM. And I was like, that's so wacky. Like, you literally think you're the Catholic Church. Like, you literally think you're the Pope, basically, is what you're coming off as. Like, you're the only church that basically exists, the only real church. And
well, you
so
know why? It's because only they evangelize.
Anyways, so when, Corey, when did you leave then, technically speaking? How long ago?
It's been like, I don't know, like 2 years probably, right? I lost track of time. I think it's been 2 years now. And I've still been like actually harassed by some of the people calling me, like trying to kind of get me back in or in all this different stuff. Like, it's actually haunted me for like the past 2 years. It's been ridiculous. Yeah.
Corey, I wanted to ask you, did was there something that you like had on Ryan for him to like get so, I guess, aggressive with you to like slander you leaving? Or that was
no, not really. I mean, like, had on Ryan. I mean, I know a lot about him, but like
what I'm asking is, do you think like, was there a reason why for him to go and slander you? Like, why would he be mad at you, I guess, is my question. Like,
okay, so the thing about it was, I think it was jealousy for one. He admitted that to me actually at one point, like, because he felt like he had poured into me so much and all this stuff, and then like I wanted to leave, you know. So that was part of it. And then but the way he painted me was like, oh, he's just ignorant, he's just deceived, like poor Corey. And then that's how everyone kind of took it. It was like, oh, poor Corey's getting led astray by this evil man. You know what I mean? That's basically right. So that's basically how he painted it. I'm just this stupid, naive kid that doesn't know what he's doing. You know, don't listen to him. You know, because after I heard that, that's when I went.
Yo, bro, this guy's funny. Okay, I'll give me a sec, brother. I hate to cut you off. This conversation is good, but if I don't bring this stuff up, it won't get dealt with. This is hilarious. Give me a second. All right, you continue. I'm gonna pull something up on the screen. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I mean, I got like 15 minutes because I have to wake up super early for work tomorrow. But yeah, I went public. And I just started like calling out for like to the whole congregation specifically. And I think it was like all California for the most part. I think all the men in California heard from me. I basically said like, this is what happened between me and Ryan. He's slandering and gossiping. I've been trying to deal with it for a month behind the scenes. I haven't said anything because I just wanted to honor everybody. But now it's not being dealt with and it's continuing to happen. And I just heard this thing from David Lynn. So like, I'm leaving. This is very cult-like. If you want to continue here, like you're actually kind of aiding and abetting it, whether you want to believe that or not. And I also started to realize his David Lynn's specific modalist tendencies, very modalistic in nature. Like if you read the statement of faith and stuff like that, I didn't catch on to that at the time until until like that very end part. Because I started really digging deep, like, why am I here? Like, should I really stay? And that's when I started realizing the doctrine was super off. So when I left, he made a public video basically saying I was ecumenical, like and that I wanted to unite with Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons.
Oh, yeah.
And he sent it to everyone. And I had like brothers reaching out to me like, bro, like, is that true? Like, that doesn't sound like you at all. It's like you talked about unity a lot and like the unity of the faith. But like you've never been off on doctrine like that or like thought that it was okay to unite with the world. And I'm like, that's so false. And then he had a debate and he didn't invite me to it. So he was like calling me out. He had like a whole meeting with I think you were probably there, right?
Which one?
He had like a 10-hour like rebuke about me and other people who were leaving. And like
was that when Larry was cussing, was like,
yes.
Okay, yeah, I was there. I was on the line.
So he rebuked me for like 5 hours.
Hold up, Corey, is this true?
What?
Are they talking about you?
Is a Richie Lorenzo guy?
You know who that is?
No, I don't know.
These people are just talking smack now. My bad. Go ahead.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that was. But anyways, go ahead, bro.
Okay. Yeah, basically, he ended up he posted that video publicly on his YouTube channel. Everyone knew it was about me and about the brother who I was working with at the time. And like, they were like, what the heck? And then everyone else kind of like, who didn't really know me, were like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, and now people are falling away from the faith because they're leaving CFM. And then he had like he hosted a meeting with all of CFM California to kind of like, get everything under control. Cause like half the congregation wanted to leave. There was like, people coming out saying, I feel abused. Like, they threw me into leadership way too early. Like I've been struggling with sexual sin, all this other stuff. Like, and they're telling me I'm a coward. I'm going to lake of fire if I don't stay in leadership. I'm like, dang, that's freaking crazy. Yeah. And he's like, like under 18 years old. I'm like, this is wild, dude. Like, so they host that meeting. It goes for 10 hours long. I don't even get invited to it. David Lynn says, I didn't invite
10 hours in a meeting?
10 hours.
I was there for that. Yeah, it was long.
10 hours.
What do you mean 10 hours
10
in
hours
a meeting?
Where?
Control.
10 hours on Zoom. 10 hours of crowd control on Zoom. Basically trying to just like roll over the whole situation and all the abuse that was happening and, the oppression. I didn't even tell you all the abuse that happened to me. And I literally had they sent someone to my house to stalk me and like report back to them. Like they told me that if I leave, like I'm going to destroy lives. Like I said, like just so much stuff. It's just really heinous. And then, he had like mowed everything over in that 10-hour thing. I think like half the people from LA left.
Huh? Who the heck is this? Good Morning Life said I was there. They were there at this meeting too?
He's saying I was there. David Lynn is gangster. David Lynn's a rat. Continue, Corey.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically all that happened. I think like half of LA left. Yep. A lot of people from SF stayed, which to my surprise, because I was closest with them all. Yeah, so it was really a surreal experience. And as I tried to just like live my life, like it just kept haunting me. It was ridiculous. Like they're like trying to contact my leadership and the elders that I had over in my life. I was just like literally just trying to do ministry and like continue to share the gospel and like worship the Lord. And they kept freaking messing with me. It was just ridiculous. So
Man, so okay, so some of this stuff that I'm hearing, because I don't know this. That's why I was trying to pull up and talk to him.
yeah.
I haven't heard what you're telling me. Meaning, I have heard rumors that it can get pretty gangsta, if we want to say that, bro.
Oh yeah, they're
This
definitely
dude can
like
get pretty.
Christian
This
gangs.
dude David Lynn could get pretty gangsta. I
It's
mean,
ridiculous. But he's a coward because when it like came to me like actually trying to confront him and like he wouldn't have me on the whole debate. I'm like, you're literally gonna have this debate about me and I'm not even on it. Like that's so whack.
Bro, did the same thing to me, bro, with this
Yeah.
live. Saying if
So-
you have a problem, come talk to me face to face, but
Yeah.
block me.
That's another reason, guys. Like I'm sorry. You know, if I came off like a hater, I'm really not trying to. I'm just honestly trying to protect people like who've been through this because they've been actually like like abused. And there's like
yeah.
married couples. Like I'm single. Like I'm a single young guy. Like, you know, I don't have kids to worry about. I don't have a wife or anything. So I'm not afraid to show my like I'm not afraid of how any repercussions of like my family. I don't have that. So I understand why other people don't want to do that. It makes perfect sense to me. So that I apologize if I came off really strong, but I am protective because it does get serious. Like there's actual gang stalking. Like they literally will get like those what are they called? Like those Google Live numbers or whatever, and just like spam call you and then try and make you feel crazy. Like they're weird. These are really weird people. They're very culty. And then they'll like call you.
Let me just tell you something, Corey. I'm not gonna say I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Because I can't say that. What I can say is it's hard to believe. But the more I'm hearing, it is becoming easier for me to believe that.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, there's so many testimonies, right? So there's it's not just me saying this. I think like there's so many people coming out now and it's so you'll see it from other people. Like Adrian even experienced what happened to me, right? Like he can even testify of like some of that, right?
Well, yeah, like I said, I was there for the meeting, but David Lynn likes to do crowd control really quick. You know, as soon as, because at that time I spoke about it on the live stream when I was talking about, you know, Ryan and stuff. But well, David Lynn said, you know, Ryan was just slandering some people, but he was doing it out of love. He was just being overzealous and over judgmental because he was looking out for his flock. That's really what he meant to do. It was from his heart. So because I got pushed and he was like, you know what? And he repents still. On top of that, guys, he repents still. So we must be forgiven. I mean, forgive him. We can't just run away every time there's a problem. David Lynn loves to say that if you leave when there's a problem, that you're just giving up on the church and that you're an error somehow. And even back then, I didn't witness what Ryan was doing, like, you know, in front of me. So I thought, you know what? David Lynn wouldn't lie. He's just saying that, you know, Ryan was just getting a little carried away with his overzealousness, whatever. It ain't that deep. And then bro, half the church left. So I'm like, maybe it was that deep. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe they're just being extra. Maybe they're falling away, like the Bible says. You know, maybe I'm overthinking it. And then the abuse went on again. Of course, David Lynn tries to sweep it under the rug. You know, try to control the narrative of what's going on. So I see that there's a pattern that continues to go on.
Yeah.
And we hear all the rumors as well in Atlanta and other places like that, or Chicago. People have been leaving for a bunch of different reasons outside of doctrine. So I mean, that says something.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you pulling through, Corey. I mean, is there anything else so right now you moved on, you're in another ministry, or what are you doing now?
I'm at Calvary. I'm at Calvary Chapel Petaluma right now. So
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I actually, he was bullying one of his sisters publicly online, and I called him out. He like hid all my comments. He was like, show you who are core call. And I was like, I'm Corey Colavito. Like, you know me, I was in your leadership. I helped plant CFMSF. Like, come, like, he's like, show me your leadership. I'm like, okay, I'm at Calvary. Like, gave him all that, and he deleted all my stuff. Haven't heard from him. I'm like, bro, like, why are you always running from me? Like, I don't understand. Like,
wait a minute, who said that? Who said that to you, Corey? Though that particular
David
thing.
Lynn. I have the pictures on my
Oh,
phone. I
he
mean, I
was
can send
calling
it to
you out like, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then when he found out, well, he didn't know it was me because I was under Core Call. He was like, "Who are you, Core Call, you devil?" And I was just like, "Corey Colavito, like, you know me. Like, I'm not trying to hide anything. Like, it
Oh,
was
so
just
at first he thought you were lying. You were somebody he didn't
yeah,
remember who you were. Then when he
yeah,
found out you were legit, he probably was like, "Oh, okay, wait a minute."
yeah." And then he
Okay.
deleted all my stuff. So, he just has a lot to hide. I mean, like, and honestly, like, guys, like, think about it. He went on a show with Marcus Rogers. Like you obviously said, he's a modalist, right? He's a oneness Pentecostal.
Well, what I'm figuring out now, just so I'm clear, a lot of the points that I agree with unfollowing the other brother, unfollowing David Lynn. Okay. I agree so far with his analysis that he is leaning towards his modalism. Yes, but here's the problem is that you can't call him a oneness modalist because he's touching more of a Unitarian view. So it's not that simple. And in certain conversations that he's having, he seems to be switching. So
That's the
that's what I'm
point,
saying.
though. That's actually
Mhm.
my point, and that kind of actually it kind of rationalizes why he would do that based on what I said, right? Like if they're a part of the true church, they'll come to CFM, right? Because he's basically trying to create his own ecumenical church through CFM in a sense. Like he wants every believer to come to CFM and have that be the new visible church is basically what he explained to me. So the fact that he's going between all these doctrines,
Oh,
it's
okay,
to
okay.
make
So wait a
himself
minute.
more attractive to every other churchgoer who's in another
Wait a minute.
ministry.
So then,
It's manipulative. That's what
so
it's
then,
manipulative.
what I have postulated is this is either his Muslim reach is also it's congruent, or let's just say it's parallel to what I thought was is he possibly opening this up so that a oneness, a Unitarian would be comfortable sitting in the pews of his church. Therefore, he's not shutting anybody out. Now he has a bunch of people who believe in different versions of the Trinity or no Trinity at all can come to his church and they're good to go.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, he wants to create
And he
yeah.
said that to you?
No, he basically said that to me, right? He was talking about the invisible and the visible church, right?
Mhm.
And then he was saying like if anyone's a true believer that in a CFM is nearby them, they'll eventually come to CFM. And he said the reason why we appeal to so many different churches, why we get Baptists watching us and all these different ones, is because we have like a very open doctrine for the most part. And then he said, and more hardcore people like us because we evangelize, we do head coverings, different stuff like that. So like he's trying to appeal to all these different groups so that he can get as many followers as possible.
Well, more honey, more money. That's what it is.
Well, if that's true, did you see that over there, Milkshake, in SoCal? Did you see that happening?
Well, when I was there, I mean, that's kind of behind the scenes stuff because I mean I wasn't in leadership, but he wasn't.
Yeah, real quick. Born Branded. Yeah, I know, bro. A few weeks ago, I'm the one that came out with the live that got him to go do this 10 series on it. So yeah, we're very aware what's happening. That video is what kicked this all off.
Well, yeah,
But what were you saying?
yeah, I didn't know about. I didn't see any of that until that Muslim video where he said that he wasn't God and stuff. But bro,
Yeah. So for instance, like Milkshake and a few others that are in the church or in CFM weren't aware of this. In fact, we have a guy who was there for a while, another brother who knows him pretty well and the leadership pretty well. He's no longer there. He's doing something else, but he still talks to those guys. He watched the video and he knows his stuff. And he's like, yeah, bro, this is a problem. Then am I hearing also that they're doing the Sabbath thing? Yeah, okay, real quick. Yeah, on that. I'm hearing that it's this whole Sabbath Hebrew Israelite thing. Is that true? That was somebody messaged me directly. Have you guys been hearing that too?
I've been hearing that he's been he's been trying to hold hands with everybody, but one that I've been hearing is that he's been trying to implement more Hebrew Israelite doctrine, or at least allowing it. And also the what is it called? I can't remember the name, but pretty much he's welcoming everybody. He wants everyone to feel welcome. There's a piece of the pie for them in there. In the doctrine, I mean, I don't know why you'd go. Yeah, I don't know why you'd go hold hands and you know, be sniffling and tearing up with Marcus Rogers if you're not thinking that that he's not in error, right? If I know someone is in error, I'm not gonna go try to be buddy with them.
Yeah.
And he seems to be doing that with everybody. But he's covering his tracks by going live and trying to say, "Hey guys, don't forget, I am a Trinitarian. Don't forget, I'm still here. Don't get worried."
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on.
Well, Corey put it best. It's an ecumenical marketing idea. If that's the case, I mean, I guess the evidence is he's revealing it by appealing to a modalist, sounding like a Unitarian,
saying he's a Trinitarian.
Obviously not, saying that he's a Trinitarian though, having a statement on his website that he doesn't use the word Trinity. So all of those are buzzwords. So just to say it plainly, if the Lord wants me to continue going this route, because like I said, I pulled up to David Lynn's live, just so you guys pulled up recently, and I was sitting backstage in the StreamYard, and he was talking to a lady, but it was late, so he had already gone over, and he didn't pull me in, but I don't think he's the one that controls it. Somebody else does. So the point was, I was sitting back there waiting, and he didn't bring me on to talk. Maybe we'll talk later, but we could just talk about what's going on. That's what I want to do. But right now, what I'm starting to see is more of what Corey has been saying and other people have been telling me. And I want to have a conversation like they did with Marcus Rogers. Marcus Rogers is having a conversation that honestly I think is so junior level that I think he's doing it on purpose to pretend like he doesn't talk to people who know the Bible. But that conversation where he's asking all these elementary questions and David Lynn is kind of just, this is a softball interview on the Trinity. Yeah, I don't think it's great, bro. I don't think this helps. I think Corey's right. I think you're right. This seems to be some kind of a strategy.
Yeah, it's selfish ambition. It's really like he's trying to build his own kingdom. I think, honestly, I mean, time will tell, but I think it comes down to bitterness. I think he felt like he didn't have a fair shake in the church, and so he's kind of going out there and
is that true, David? Is that true?
That is true.
Okay.
So they celebrate. Are they doing the Sabbath thing and everything?
I didn't even know that. That wasn't there when I was there. They did it for fun.
I know that they're very, 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 very adamant on Passover. And I heard that they want to implement other stuff. I don't know if they've done it since then, but that's what I heard as well.
So they're walking around going Shabbat Shalom and all that?
I mean, I wouldn't put it behind them.
Yeah, which holidays, bro? Are you still part of that?
Because
anyways, David Beltran, is David Beltran still there?
Nah, he's not there no more.
Oh, so you're just hearing it through the grapevine.
But
I'm not gonna lie, until I pull that eye out. If I see that AI photo, David, like small, smaller, it looks like a Malcolm X photo. Then I pull it up and it's David Beltran. All right, good job, bro. Good job. Oy vey. All right. So Corey.
Yeah.
Now are you in ministry full time or are you just serving at a church?
I'm in youth ministry now.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your part of it. If anything, in the future you want to do so, or I know you're still talking to that group of brothers. We want to know the truth. We want to talk to all angles. So, and as you can see,